Once upon a time, in a faraway village in the eastern part of Nigeria, there lived a beautiful woman called Choma. Choma was an orphan and she was married to a man called Ejike. Choma had been pregnant for more than 5 years, but she couldn't deliver the baby. It got to a point that she couldn't come outside again because she had become a laughing stock in her community. People will always say, how can a woman be pregnant for good 5 years without delivering? Are you even sure that she's not carrying a stone in that womb? Some people even warn their loved ones not to get close to her so that she won't afflict them with whatever that was tormenting her. The pain of carrying the big tummy around every day was so unbearable for her. She could not sit, stand, walk, nor sleep properly. Her mother-in-law, on the other hand, wasn't making the matter easy for her. She always comes around her home to verbally accuse her, accusing her of being a witch who had used the destiny of her grandchild in their coven. All this while, her husband was the only one who stood by her and showed her care and love. She would always tell her, Wunyem, my darling wife, don't trouble yourself, don't worry yourself. As long as I'm not complaining, nobody has any right to call you names or insult you. I'm always here for you. Be rest assured that when it's due, at the right time, you put bed to our lovely baby. He will always assure her. Anytime Choma faces any form of harassment outside, she always runs to her husband for comfort. He made sure that she never lacked any love nor any good thing that money could buy. However, in all these her challenges, her husband has refused that they seek any form of help. Each time Choma brings up the suggestion of them going to seek for help, he will always wave it aside, saying, my lovely wife, you don't need all these things. You don't need all this stress. I've told you, when it's time for you to deliver, you will deliver. Don't go about stressing yourself. He will always tell her. Anytime someone tries helping her with a solution, the person dies mysteriously before the solution could be profiled. In fact, on one occasion, a friend of hers promised to take her to a very powerful dibia. Choma went to tell her husband about it, and the husband never objected to it this time around. He told her, my lovely wife, you can go. You can go ahead if that will make you happy, he said. But unfortunately, her friend died in her sleep overnight. Well, few days later, Choma was crying and Choma told her husband, this time around I have to go. You have to accompany me to go and meet this powerful dibia. I am tired of carrying this pregnancy up and down. The pain is too much for me. Every time it will look as if contraction wants to come. I'll go through the pain of contraction for hours, only for the pregnancy to go back. The pain and humiliation is too much. I just want to end all these things. She cried to her husband. So her husband agreed to follow her to the dibia. But just as the dibia was about to reveal the truth to her, he suddenly became deaf and dumb. And that was how they left there. Choma continued bearing this pain of pregnancy and humiliation from her community until one day, one old woman whom Choma always patronizes in the market asked her to come inside her shop this time around. She asked her to sit down because according to her, she has something to reveal to Choma. She told Choma that each time she saw her walk around the market in pain due to the pregnancy, that she always felt pity for her. So she told Choma that she will reveal the person behind her predicament and that she will also give her solution to it. Choma was so happy and she listened to the old woman keenly. The old woman told her that the cause of her problem was her husband. Hello friend, please if you watch to this extent, please can you kindly take a second to just click on the subscribe button. Kindly subscribe to this channel. Please, your own little way of supporting me. Thank you. Please help my channel to grow by subscribing. Thank you. Choma didn't believe. Choma was angry with the old woman. And Choma said, Mama, with all due respect, I respect you. But that doesn't give you the right to start accusing my husband. That is a heavy allegation, Mama. My husband is the only one that has been my comfort in this wicked world. Mama, I am an orphan. If not for my husband, where would I have gone to in this kind of situation? No, my husband is so caring. He's so loving. My husband can never do such a thing to me. In fact, why will he even want to do that? Was he not expecting to welcome his baby? Mama, please, don't come and destroy my marriage for me, Choma said angrily. The woman looked at her and told her, my daughter, things are not always the way it seems to look. I will give you a proof that will make you know that I'm telling you the truth. The mama went on to say, between 12 to 1 a.m. this night, try and check your tummy, then come back and tell me the next day what you observed. Choma thanked her reluctantly and left her shop. When Choma got home, Choma was angry with the woman, and Choma said, how can this old woman say this kind of a thing to my husband? Does she know how far me and my husband have come? She just wants to destroy my home. A jealous old woman. How can she say that my husband is behind my predicament? It's never possible. Anyway, I'll give her the benefit of that so that I will put her to shame. Wicked woman, she said to herself. So that night, Choma laid on her bed and she pretended to be asleep. So exactly 12:30, she discovered that her stomach was flat. Choma was terrified, but she kept calm. She told herself, this night I will see to the end of this thing, she said to herself. I am going to keep awake and see to the end of this thing, she said to herself. But immediately, she fell into a very deep sleep, only for her to wake up around 8 a.m. the next day. And when she woke up, she discovered that her stomach was big again. Quickly, she ran back to the old woman and narrated everything that she discovered. And the old woman told her, like I told you before, things are not always the way it seems. The old woman revealed to her that it has been her husband who had made her not to deliver all this while. She told her that the husband was a witch who had made an oath to be bringing the baby and the pregnancy every day to his witchcraft meeting. She also went further to tell her that every night he takes the pregnancy with him to the coven and returns very early the next morning with the pregnancy and put it back to her. She revealed to her that he will always cause her to fall into a deep sleep so that she wouldn't notice what happened all through the night. The old woman further revealed to her that even if she eventually births the child, that the child will not be a normal child because of what her husband has been doing with the pregnancy. Choma cried and cried, wondering why her husband would do such a thing to her. She asked the woman, but why would my husband do this to me? What is my offense? Where have I wronged him? Why would my husband cause me such a pain? And why will he do this to an innocent child? She said. And again the old woman said, like I told you earlier, things are not always the way it seems to be. We live in a wicked world, the old woman said. Then the old woman promised to help her. She told her that she would be in her neighborhood that very night. She instructed Choma to keep her door open at exactly 1 a.m. So on that same night, at exactly 12:30 a.m., her stomach became flat again while she pretended to be asleep. She quickly opened the door for the old woman at 1 a.m. When the old woman entered the house, she took Choma out of the house quickly and they ran away. So hours later, as Choma's husband came back from his coven, he couldn't find his wife on the bed. He searched around the house. He couldn't find her. He searched around the compound, but Choma was nowhere to be found. He couldn't gain access to Choma because the old woman was a very powerful and strong Dibia too, whose powers were higher than his. So she shielded Choma from her husband. So Choma's husband went back to his coven for help and to get more powers to defeat the old woman. But when he got there, he was told that they can't help him because the old woman had a very positive power which is higher than theirs. They chased him out of their coven and told him that he can no longer be part of them because they didn't want to have anything to do with that old woman. When Ejike got home, he had no other choice but to enter into his own body that was lying on the bed. For days, he tried hiding from his community with his pregnancy. He stayed indoor all days, but one day he ran out of food. So he decided to go get some food. Although he tried hiding his identity, he was eventually caught. He was taken to the Igwe's palace, where he confessed everything that he has been doing. Everybody was shocked because such a thing had never happened in the community. Finally, the Igwe banished him from the community. And from that day, Ejike was named the pregnant man, and he roamed the surface of the earth as a pregnant man until he eventually died. So that is the end of my story. Before I go, one major lesson that we can learn from this story is that no matter how long evil or darkness might last, always know that good and light will always prevail. So that is my own moral lesson from this story. I want to ask you, what do you learn from this story? I would really love to hear from you and also learn from you. Kindly tell me what you learned from the story in the comment section. And until our next story, see you. Bye.